I've spent the past week testing every single character feature in the biggest AI platforms out there, and I found the exact process that keeps your character looking the same from the very first image all the way to the last frame of your video. And if you skip any of these steps, you're just one bad generation away from losing everything you've built around your character before they drift. So by the end of this, you're going to know the 5 levels of building a perfectly consistent AI character, starting from generating your first base image all the way to animating a full cinematic clip with your character placed inside a custom world you built yourself. And I'll also be sharing details on a competition where you could win some insane prizes by doing this, so make sure to stay until the end. The platform I'm using for all of these levels is called OpenArt, and it's an all-in-one tool that handles everything from image generation to video animation all in one place. If you want to follow along, I've left a link for OpenArt in the description below. Let's get into level 1, which is creating our base image. When you land on the OpenArt homepage, you'll see 5 main options: story, image, video, character, and audio. Each one leads to a different workflow, and while we're going to be spending most of our time in the character section today, the first thing we actually need to do is go into image. Before you can build a consistent character, you need a strong base image to work from. This is the first level, and it's the foundation of everything we'll do down the line, so it's important to get it right. Inside the image workflow, the first thing you want to do is select your model, because each one excels at something different. For this, I'll select Nano Banana 2 because it creates very realistic outputs that are perfect for a consistent character. Now, before you start typing your prompt, make sure to keep it focused on the person themselves. Describe in detail how you want them to look like, but leave out anything extra, because you want this base image to be as flexible as possible. For this example, I'm going to write a young adult male with silver blonde hair, blue eyes, sharp features, confident posture, neutral expression, clean studio lighting, white background. This describes all the core features without adding unnecessary details. Set your output size to the aspect ratio that fits your project and increase the number of images generated so you have a few options to choose from. Then hit generate. And when those images come back, take a moment to actually pick the right one, because this is the image the AI is going to reference every single time you generate something new. I like this one right here, so I'll select that. But that image on its own doesn't do much yet. The real power comes from what you do with it next, and that's exactly what level 2 is about. Let's actually build our character. Level 2 is where your character stops being a one-time generation and becomes something the AI can actually remember and reuse. So head back to the main menu and click on Create a Character. When you're inside, you'll see lots of options, but for now, click on Character. This will give you 2 options, either starting from an image or from a text prompt. Starting from an image is almost always the better option because the AI uses it as a direct visual reference. So instead of letting it guess, you get maximum consistency. So I'll click start from an image and upload the base we just created. Next, give your character a name. I'll call mine Lucas. You can also give them a backstory, but that's optional. Once it's saved, you'll be able to see your character inside your character library. From here, you can start generating with them directly. And that's where most people stop and end up missing out on features that will make their outputs be professional. But before we get into that, I also want to show you what it looks like when you create a character from text instead, just so you can see the difference clearly. Go back into character creation, but this time select the text option. I'll use the exact same description we used earlier. Now compare them side by side. The image-based character is going to be noticeably more consistent across generations because the AI has a real visual anchor to work from. The text-based version is still useful, especially when you need something fast or you're experimenting with ideas. But there's typically more variation between generations since the AI is interpreting a description instead of recreating an exact face. That difference matters a lot when you're building content over time. The more consistent your starting point, the more consistent everything that comes after it. Now let's get back into the other features I mentioned. OpenArt allows you to not only create your character, but create a whole world around them. Go back to the character menu, where you'll see the other 3 options: object, background, and style. This is the characters and world system, and OpenArt is the only platform I've seen that features this. And that's exactly what level 3 is, because a character without a world is just a portrait. If you want to build content that feels like it belongs together, every element around your character needs to be just as locked in as the character themselves. Let's start with objects. Here, you upload an image of an item and it becomes something you can place into any scene you create. You can either use an image you found online or one you generated yourself using the image workflow we already went through. For Lucas, I've already made this leather jacket that matches his look. I'll upload that image, name it Lucas's jacket, and save it. Now that jacket is locked into my asset library and I can reference it anytime I generate anything. The reason this matters is that if you just describe an item in your prompt every time, the AI is going to interpret it slightly differently each generation. But when you save it as an object and reference it directly, it stays the same every single time. Now I'll click on backgrounds and do the same thing. I want something that fits the vibe of the character, so I'll upload this image of an underground train station. Now I have a reusable background that I can use whenever I want. And finally, style. This one works a bit differently from the others. Instead of saving a specific item or location, you're saving a visual aesthetic. I want everything I create with Lucas to have that same cinematic, slightly desaturated, moody look. So I found an image that captures exactly that feel, uploaded it, and saved it as my style. So now I've got a full asset library, and the next step is putting all of that together into an actual scene. And this is level 4, and it's the first time you actually get to see everything you've built come together in one place. Go into the image creation workflow. In the reference area, you're going to call up your assets using the characters and worlds option. I'll select Lucas, then add the leather jacket, the train station background, and the cinematic style. Each one gets tagged as a visual reference, and the AI uses all of them together when it generates the image. So now, instead of describing everything from scratch in my prompt, I just need to tell it what's happening in the scene. It already knows what everything looks like, so I'll paste it in. I'll select Nano Banana 2 as my model, set the aspect ratio to 16:9, and hit generate. And looking at these results, this is exactly what I was going for. Lucas looks exactly like the character I created with the jacket on him. The background matches, and the whole thing has that same cinematic tone I saved as my style. Now let's animate that image. I'll select it and click on the image to video option. This takes the still image and uses it as the starting frame for the video generation, which means the AI already has a clear visual reference for everything in the scene before it even starts. For the model, I'll use Kling 3 because it handles camera movement and natural character motion really well. I'll set the duration to 5 seconds, resolution to 1080p, and write my prompt. And looking at this clip, it came out really well. The movement feels natural, and Lucas looks completely consistent with everything we built. Now we have one scene done, so let's make it into a full sequence. This is the level most people never reach, and it's the one that takes everything from a single clip to something that actually feels complete. Level 5 is about continuity, and is what separates the pros from the amateurs. I'm going to take that first video clip and grab the last frame and click image to video. It automatically saves the clip as the first frame. So now I'll paste a new prompt and set the duration to 8 seconds. What this does is create a bridge between the two clips. The AI generates a video that starts exactly where clip 1 left off and ends at this new scene I just created. So when you put them together in sequence, the story moves forward naturally. I'll repeat this one more time for a third clip. I'm also going to add Lucas's character because this last frame is his back turned against the camera. Now I've got 3 clips that connect into each other, all featuring the same character, the same world, the same visual style throughout. Once all the clips are done, bring them into your video editor. I'm using CapCut, but you can use whatever you like. I'll arrange them in order, trim anything that doesn't feel right, drop a music track underneath that matches the mood, adjust the pacing so the cuts feel natural, and export. And that's the finished piece, a fully animated short clip built entirely inside OpenArt with a consistent character moving through a consistent world from the very first frame to the very last. These 5 levels will allow you to master consistent characters, and with OpenArt, you can do all of it inside one platform. And if you want to put those skills to the test, OpenArt just launched the AI Personality of the Year 2026. It's a global competition running up until April 24th, where you build an original AI influencer, post content over 30 days, and compete for over $60,000 in prizes across categories like AI Entertainer, Lifestyle, Comedy, Fitness, and Anime. There's even a grand prize of $8,000 for the top AI personality of the year. The link to enter is in the description below, and it's the same link to sign up to OpenArt, so you can start building your character and your entry at the same time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.